Okay, so for those of you that actually go to church and donate your hard-earned money, do you actually know what your money goes to when you donate to your church? Because I know some of you, can't really afford much and you give what you can, and that takes money out of your own mouth.
Don't mind me. I'm just a pastor sitting here in my robe with my chest hair out. And I just wanted to comment on this social experiment about the woman calling the churches and mosques to see if they'll donate a can of baby formula.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Carmen JC, and today we're going to get into a TikToker who actually has been going super viral on TikTok. And what she's been doing is she's been calling local churches to ask them if they would give her money for baby formula. Now, you probably thinking like, why would she be calling churches to ask if they're going to give her money for baby formula? Because she doesn't actually have a baby, but she's like plays these baby crying sounds in the background, and it's a faith test. It's a test of goodness to see if the church would do the right thing and obviously help the young lady who needs help with baby formula, since she's saying that her child has not eaten since the night before. So I want you guys to go ahead and first take a look at why she says she's doing this, and then we'll go ahead and look at the first call that one of the calls that she took, and a couple of responses from that. So let's go ahead and take a look at what she has to say about this. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Okay, so for those of you that actually go to church and donate your hard-earned money, do you actually know what your money goes to when you donate to your church? Because I know some of you, can't really afford much and you give what you can, and that takes money out of your own mouths. Maybe, you might give, your last few dollars to church. And I'm curious if that church actually helps your community or not, or if they just pocket your money. So I'm actually going to be testing and seeing if local churches in my area first are willing to help somebody that's in need when they call up and ask for help, or kind of like what the response is in general that they give me. I honestly don't know if they're going to be willing to help somebody in need, or if they're going to be like, no, sorry, we can't help you. And I honestly, like, my take on it, my personal beliefs, because I don't go to church, is that they're not going to want to help anybody that doesn't specifically want to go to their church, or interested in going to their church, or doesn't already attend their church. That's my view. That is my personal view. I want to be proven wrong. Okay, I want y'all to know that. I want to be proven wrong. But I am going to test it. And I'm going to call them, and I'm going to call them on the phone with you so you can see what is said and how they respond, and if they're willing to help somebody in need. I will be...
Okay, so you get the gist. She's going to be calling the churches. She's just doing it like a test of goodness to see if these churches would actually help. Because me, myself, I understand why she would do something like this, because I've had a lot of bad experiences going to churches and people telling me that their church is so great. And yeah, let's just say that they do things like ask you for money and tell you basically that you're going to go to hell if you don't give them money, or that your life is going to be horrible if you don't give them money. So I can attest to how she feels, but that's not to say all churches. So I want to make that clear that all churches are not like this, but there are a good amount of churches. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first church. She went ahead and called, and we're going to see what they had to say. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
So I'm calling your church to test to see if they would help feed a starving baby. And right now, per request, I'm calling Living Faith Christian Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Let's call them and see if they would help feed a starving baby.
All right, so just for context, I just want you guys to know that people are starting to request her to call their personal church, and this is the church that people requested her to call. So she's calling that church to see what they say. So let's keep going.
Living Faith Christian Center.
Hi, yes. I was wanting to see if y'all could help with baby formula at all. I have a 2-month-old and she ran out last night, so I just need like a small can because she's gone all day and all night.
What about? I don't understand. You have need for what, ma'am? Now.
I was wanting to see if you all could help with a small can of formula for a baby.
Small can of formula for a baby. Hold on, let me see. Sister Judy's available. Hold on a minute, okay?
Okay.
This is Julia. How can I help you?
Hi, I was wanting to see if y'all could help with a small can of baby formula. I have a 2-month-old and she's been out since last night, so she's gone all night and all day without
Oh,
anything to eat.
we don't have any formula around, darling. I'm sorry. None. No diapers, anything for babies. We don't
Okay.
have any.
Could that
I'm
be
sorry.
something you all could get and I could just pick it up?
No, we can't right now. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye-bye.
All right, thanks. Nope.
All right. So as you can see, the church said no, and she called. I last time I checked, it was like 40 churches, and about 9 of them said yes, and a lot of them were Catholic churches. I think it was a mosque, but most of the Christian churches, the Baptist churches, those types, they said no. And I read online somewhere like these churches didn't even offer prayer. Like the baby is literally crying. Well, the fake baby is literally crying in the background. And one of the pastors for that church, well, the pastor for that church, he actually responded to her. And I want you guys to listen to his response because it's very interesting. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what he had to say.
Situation. We had a little situation, and the person who goes around calling churches and putting the voice of a baby crying in the background, and I say, really the person is low. It's a witch. And my Bible says he do not allow that thing to live. So you have to watch when you fooling with God. I told him I have my scripture. What happened when you mess with the people of God? You taking your life into your own hand. Now they might have a few little TikTok demons came up in here today. Please stay for the rest of the service. Please stay. But you will behave yourself. Because this is not one of them churches you're going to come and disrupt it. You will be dealt with very, very swiftly in Jesus' name.
All right. So as you can see, he is not backing down with what happened. He didn't say that, we need to probably do better. We need to get better programming programs or just give a human like answer. But instead, he decided to shame her for actually doing this social experiment. And I want to make it clear that when people did say yes, that they would give her the baby milk, she told them right away. She thanked them right away and told them how wonderful they were. And I think that that is not a bad thing. I mean, you guys can let me know what you guys think, but me personally, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's actually something. It's like being audited. You audit people that you give money to because you want to make sure they're doing the right thing with the money. And I'm pretty sure anybody in that congregation would not have been upset at the church for helping someone in need, even if they didn't go to the church. Like me, myself, I would help someone in need if they needed something for their kid or for their baby because that's just the type of person that's what a good person does. They're selfless. And as a church, you should be the ones that's setting that example. And this man is just pathetic. I think he's pathetic. And I think to go online and to slander her and to like make fun of her in front of your congregation, I think it's low. And it's just, this is why she did what she did. And it's just amazing that these type of people get to just get this money tax free. And, like I said, I'm not talking about all of them, but you can see by this guy and how he behaves that it is something going on there that is probably not legal. Let's just say that. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at one more guy, and he's actually going to do a reaction to these pastors that have been coming online. And I think he had a pretty good take. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what he had to say. Go ahead and take a listen.
This has become a two-part test for American churches, and most are failing the first part, and now most are failing the second part. The second part is where the pastor comes onto TikTok himself or herself to explain why they said no. Not to reflect and say, hey, we failed the test, we will do better. No. They're coming on here all defensive, talking about we don't want to get scammed. So many people call up and ask for gas money. So many people ask for things and then go use drugs. Did Jesus teach you to look at strangers that way?
And I think that is an excellent point of the we don't want to get scammed. But it's like for me personally, like it's like someone outside. Now I get outside when you have homeless people, you say you give them the money, it makes the situation worse because a lot of the times they do go buy drugs. But sometimes I just don't care. I just want to help. I don't care if they're going to go buy drugs. Sometimes I just want to help my fellow American. And I don't think that they're getting that. I think that's the part that they're missing. But we're going to let this guy continue.
I saw this pastor this morning try to defend himself, and it was like, why did you talk at all? Was silence not an option?
Firstly, churches, pastors, and church elders recognize that we are stewards of the money that's been given to the church. So we want to use it wisely. Whenever people donate to the church, they give their offerings to the church from their hard-earned money, we who are in leadership look at that as a sacred trust. And so we want to make sure that we use the money in a manner that gets the most benefit and helps people that are really in need.
Okay, see, you see, he said help people that are really in need. And I would guess that if a mother with a 2-month-old crying in the background, asking for one can of milk, she's not asking for like something large, something that you can't replace easily. She's asking for milk. And he's saying, like, no, we're going to save this for people in need. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? Excuse me. And I think it's low. I think it's low. And I think people need to do a better job at helping people. But we're going to continue.
So when you have somebody call your church that you have no relationship with, you don't know them, you don't know their background, you don't know whether they're being truthful or dishonest, all those things, you just have to be a little bit careful. It's not my money. The money that's given to the church is the church's money, and I've been entrusted to use.
He should have just stayed silent. You're not able to self-reflect and say, hey, I apologize. I should have done better. You are defensive, and some people are calling this young woman a seductress, a woman who know not what does she do. This has become a major moment for the American church. Many of you have been exposed as hypocritical and cynical and non-responsive to the needs of people in your community. And out of alignment with what Jesus Christ taught you, this moment will be studied in the history of American churches as a moment that proved, that showed the hypocrisy and the non-responsiveness of American churches to Americans in need.
So I think this guy right here, I think he hit the head on the nail that, there's no humanity in any of it to come back. Like they could have just stayed silent. I think that's the best thing he said. You could have just stayed silent and said nothing and reflected. If you were going to say something, reflected on what you could have done better or reflected. Like you could have do churches need PR now? It's like, it feels like these churches need PR. They need me to come to say and say, you know what? Honestly, we have a certain way that we go about doing things, but you know what? Maybe we need to look at how we do that so that people in need do not have to starve their babies. It should be stuff like that. But these guys are just like, no, they gave us the money to entrust with us to do what we think is best with it. And I want you guys to go ahead and take a look at this next guy because he's just going to make fun of the whole situation of how these pastors responded. And I think it is head on, it's spot on. Just go ahead and take a look.
Don't mind me. I'm just a pastor sitting here in my robe with my chest hair out. And I just wanted to comment on this social experiment about the woman calling the churches and mosques to see if they'll donate a can of baby formula. The church is not obligated to help you, okay? Do you have some sort of church blockbuster membership card? Do you attend our weekly book clubs? No. So we are not obligated to help you, okay? Now, at my fundamental church of Jesus' tailbone, we do not help people unless they help us. That's just how it works. And this is a scam. People are scamming the churches for baby formula. They take the baby formula and they sell it for 10 times the price on the dark web. They got people asking for gift cards. This is what's happening. And you guys want to tax the churches? If you tax the churches, I will not be able to get my Rolls Royce. And that is not what's going to happen. So, just log off and go with God. I also want to say thank you to our little keyboard warriors for Christ who continue in their religious psychosis and defend us in the comments. Thank you.
That is hilarious, guys. And I think he did such a great impression because it's just so true. Like, these churches have gotten out of control, and I really think it is a good thing to go to church. I really think it's a good thing to support your church, but I do also think it's a good thing to hold these churches accountable if they're not going to be doing right by the people. Because as a person, as an individual person, me, myself, Carmen, as myself, if someone came to me and asked me for baby formula or even like I said, on the streets, and I know that giving them money makes the situation worse, but sometimes I just don't care. I just want to help someone, and that's what this should be. That's what people should be taking from this as far as these churches go. People should be taking that maybe we need to do things different. Maybe the way we're doing things is not a good way of doing things because we're not able to service people who actually need help. You guys can tell me what you think in the comments. I am Carmen JC. If you're new here, make sure you hit the like or the subscribe button. Or if you want to support the channel, hit the super thanks or the buy me a coffee link below. Also, make sure you guys go ahead and drop, like I said, what you think in the comments because I love hearing what you guys have to say. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next time.
I'm breaking chains, freeing minds, it's a time to rise. Conscious culture in my veins, yeah, we see through the lies. They telling stories, trying to mold what we thinking inside. But I'm cutting through illusions, showing truth worldwide. They trying to box us in, but we step out the line. Redefine